evening.
When you think of Hollywood, there are names that are synonymous with the evolution of Hollywood to what it is today. And when you think of horror films, you think of a Mount Rushmore, and there is one name that will always be on that mountain. Vincent Price is a name that echoes through the annals of Hollywood history. And that has also gone down to his daughter, who we have the pleasure of speaking with today. I would like to introduce you to Victoria Price. Thank you for having time to spend with us today.
It is my pleasure. Thank you for having me and Allie on the show here.
Oh, Allie can come on our show as well as you anytime. We are actively looking for a mascot for the Spooky World film.
Well, she might well volunteer.
Excellent. As a dog lover myself, this made my day. I believe we were talking before we hit record about how David Bertolino, who used to own Spooky World, saw a flyer or got an ad back in the early 90s of a haunted hayride out of New Jersey, out of Egg Harbor, New Jersey. And your father's likeness was on that ad. And it goes to show the gravity that your father's presence had. His image, his likeness will attention grab someone, and immediately they'll want to see what it has to offer. And that drew David Bertolino to New Jersey for the hayride, which spawned the idea for Spooky World, which now we're making a film about, and you're on our podcast. So look at how this all comes full circle. It's amazing. As we close here, you do know that we are putting a little film together, and I had an opportunity to view parts of this film, and we sent you a clip or a brief segment of this film and how your father is incorporated into it. I want to know first what your thoughts on what you're seeing from us are, and what you think your father's thoughts on this would be.
Well, in the clip, my father is in House of Wax, and he's talking about, I'm going to give the people what they want, shock and horror. And of course, that character understood that, but my dad understood that. Just as he understood it was more fun to play the bad guy because the bad guy has all the layers, he also understood that the world is drawn to the shock and the horror. And I think where he sort of felt that he held like the center was that he could hold the evil and hold the good, and you could examine that through his characters. In terms of the whole ethos of Spooky World, my dad loved amusement parks, loved them. So the idea of this place that was based on horror and scaring people to death, he would have loved it, because he would have loved the idea of playing with people's imaginations and engaging them one-on-one and scaring them to death. So for him, the idea of a place that took every horror trope and actually put people into the middle of that and played with them enough to scare them so that they had the interactive experience, what he fundamentally believed was the world needs horror and fear in a controlled environment. Is the place where we can go in, face our fears, and come out and be able to face the much bigger fears. And places that sort of like Spooky World, or films that take something scary but blow it up to the point of, in the back of your mind, it's ridiculous. But you come out of that and there's this sort of cleansing and catharsis. And I think that is why horror and Spooky World just took off. It's a place to connect with your icons, your idols, and the whole experience. It's like walking into a horror movie and getting to have that experience instead of just sitting there watching it. He would have loved it.
An honor to be able to associate the Price family with Spooky World, and to know that this has come full circle. The inspiration of your father, his presence, helped bring this to life, and now we have our film coming to fruition.
This was such a pleasure. It was such a wonderful conversation, and I'm excited on my dad's behalf to be part of the Spooky World history as well.